All right, welcome to the Sharp Mind Show, episode 48. I'm Nate, the Fit Future MD, your host. Be sure to shop at InserSell.com. Pick you up a cool inspirational t-shirt today. Use code FitFutureMD for 20% off. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment down below and let me know what you think about it. All right, so we're going to start off today. We're going to start off fast with the top things to avoid when going for financial freedom, right? So, we're all about our money. By getting our money up, we're going to reach financial freedom. I've talked about on this channel a lot about financial freedom, how to get there, how to calculate how much money you need, all that kind of stuff, how many investments you need. But these are the things that are going to get you there faster, right? So the top thing to avoid with financial freedom is pets. Do not get a pet. Right? No goldfish, no turtles, no bunnies, no gerbils, no dogs, no cats, no nothing. And this is one's pretty obvious. Dogs are like $5,000. Number one. The vet bills are like $2,000. And like I say, if you do the cost analysis on that, just that, and then the food is $50 a month. 50 or $100 a month. Don't get no dogs, don't get no cats, don't get no pets, right? Number two is expensive social habits, right? So if you're going to the bar every weekend, you're going out to eat every week, but to hang out with your friends at the bar, at the, going out to eat, that's going to cause you to go to financial freedom a lot slower, right? This one's obvious, and it's student loans. Don't get student loans if you're going for financial freedom, period. Well, don't get student loans, period, right? Don't do anything that you cannot go bankrupt on, period. Like I say, bad things happen in life. Things don't work out the way they're supposed to work out. And if you cannot go bankrupt on it, do not do it, period. So the next one's like lifestyle inflation. So don't be upgrading your car. Don't be upgrading your apartment. Don't be buying new clothes. There's really no reason to be paying, $100 for a t-shirt when you could buy a t-shirt for $30 at InserSell.com. So keep that in mind. But like I say, with some people that I work with, the first thing they did as soon as they got a paycheck, when they got hired, once they passed their 6-month phase where they were going to be staying full time, that kind of thing. The first thing they did was go buy new cars, right? They can't keep driving the old truck they were driving or driving the old car they were driving. They had to have a new car, right? So, that $500 to $700 payment plus the insurance, that's going to keep you from financial freedom, right? It's opportunity cost. If you don't know what opportunity cost is if I buy this, how much does it cost me here, right? So keep that in mind. For every $1 you spend, that's $10 that you could have earned in the stock market over 1 year, right? And then that compounds over the years, right? So, like I say, in the last one I talked about with student loans, but high interest debt, credit cards, personal loans. Obviously, you want to be on the other side of the equation. You want to be the one getting the high interest debt from people, right? So keep that in mind. This is the stuff to avoid if you're going for financial freedom, right? And people will call you weird. People will call you a cheapskate. People call you all kinds of things. But guess what? We'll be rich and they'll still be broke, right? We'll be, doing whatever we want to do while they're still at a job they hate. So keep that in mind. That's one of the hardest parts of financial freedom, right? Is that you're seeing everybody else, you're keeping up with the Joneses or whatever. You're seeing everybody else, get all this new stuff, how these nice new houses or, whatever. while you're still going for financial freedom. And when you hit that 5-year mark and you're financially free and you're out the door and they're still having to sit there and work, you'll know why you sacrificed, right? So keep that in mind. Let me know what you would add to the list to go for financial freedom in the description below. This episode is brought to you by London and the Googly Goo, which is my wife's children's book. If you got nieces, nephews, or children of your own, be sure to check out my wife's book, London and the Googly Goo, available on Amazon by Meredith Dillon. All right, so of course, the weekend's where we make our money, right? So we got to talk about stocks. Hims sells off on Friday. What goes up must come down, right? So Hims is experiencing significant volatility, you know, after a 16% surge with their menopause stuff. They declined after that, right? So what's going on? Are they not going to hit their numbers? But what I found is that the CEO actually sold off some stocks. So now you have to figure out whether this was a, you know, uh, a random sell or whether he was actually like planning to sell no matter what. In this case, he was planning to sell no matter what. His stock options just ended, right? So he exercised his stock options, and he'll probably put the 11 million right back into the company, to be honest. But who knows? But I basically pulled this stock up just to say, like, so Hims was running hot, right? We made a bunch of money off of Hims, probably $2,000 or more off of Hims, right? And now you're seeing things go back down. They're doing this and they do this, right? So stocks go up, stocks go down. Now you can do stuff to win when they go up, and you can do stuff when they win when they go down. I'm not really here to talk about that, but if something does go up and you are an options trader, you can short the stock, right? But remember, the stock market over the long term goes up. So shorting the stock is actually the most dangerous thing you can do, because stocks do go up and down, but most of the time they go up, right? So especially with the dollar inflating, it can just keep going up just because the dollar is not worth as much, so keep that in mind. But like I say, Hims is one of the ones I made, great on. I think I got it at $20, and traded it well into the 50s before it slowed down. And obviously, it had this 16% surge, which I wasn't a part of, unfortunately. I'd already gotten out of that one. But let me know what you think. They got expected revenue growth of 44% year over year, which is coming November 3rd, right? So you got a couple weeks, and you'll get earnings here. Is earnings going to make them go up or down? You don't know. So if you're swing trading the stock, when it goes down, is it a good time to buy? Maybe, right? Maybe. So, like I say, it lost, almost 16%. So it gained 16% and then lost 16%. So keep that in mind. One of the reasons I do like this stock is because it actually is profitable in a growth stock. So it is I call like the needle in the haystack as far as a growth stock, because most growth stocks are losing money. This one's actually making money. So I do like this one, the specific, if you're going to go long-term investment, I do like that one, not financial advice, right? Let me know what you think of Hims in the comments below, and we'll move on to life coaching, right? So this one also involves the stock market. So I'm listening to a reel of Dave Ramsey, And basically the lady's like, my husband lost $900,000 of our retirement day trading the stock market. Right. So, and it's basically like, how would you tell your wife that you lost $900,000 of the stock market? And basically she didn't know, right? Well, so basically the point is that if you're married, you should know what your significant other is doing with your finances. You should do your finances together and have a goal together, right? And I do 100% agree with that. So the first thing I did when I saw this post, I was like, well, let me screenshot, what I have and send it to my wife, right? So now she is aware of what the investing financial situation is. And she's also aware of what goals we have, right? So, the goals we have is to make money every day so that eventually we are completely financially free and not just on lean fire, right? So, like I say, you get to lean fire in 3 years, talk about fire, financial independence and retiring early. You get to lean fire by 3 years, by 5 years, you can absolutely be 100% financially free. Even if you're like me, starting $300,000 in debt. So keep that in mind. But yeah, this guy lost $900,000 in the stock market, and I'm sitting here like, how do you even lose that? Number one. But this is what I'm going to say about day trading, right? So day trading is seen as this big thing, right? Oh, you can make $200 a day, $1,000 a day, $5,000 a day. Some people are saying, oh, I made $50,000. Well, $100,000 in one trade, or crazy stuff like that, right? Number one, you got to realize how big their stack is, right? So to even day trade, you should have at least 25 grand. And if you go under 25 grand, they're going to flag you, right? So you really need at least 50 grand to day trade. But if you start out as a small account, $1,000, $2,000, you basically do it without using margin, right? You use a non-margin account, cash only account. You get one trade a day, basically like that. And so you make that trade perfect. You concentrate on making that trade perfect, and you either win or you lose, right? But if you do it that way, if you start from the bottom, right? If you start with $1,000 and you day trade every day, you do a strategy and you day trade every day, and you do that for years until you're up to $50,000, $100,000, there's no way with that experience that long, because it's going to take you 2 or 3 years just to get up to the $30,000, or it's going to take you a while, right? Because you're grinding. If you're making 1% a day on your $1,000, you know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money, right? To make 1% a day, that's 365% a year, right? So you're going to make that 1,000, 3,000, the 3,000, 9,000, the 9,000, 27,000. That's 3 years to get to 27,000. And obviously, you're not going to make 1% a day. It's going to be probably half of that. You're probably making 180%, right? And you might not even make, you may only make 100%, because say your strategy works 8 out of 10 times. You got to make sure that mentally, if stuff's going down, those 2 times that it goes down, that you get out early. And then I've had it where, literally 20 times in a row, like you've had a drawdown of 20 times in a row, right? So, and there are things to do to prevent that kind of stuff. But so day trading is a long grind. It's not actually like, oh, you show up with, so whoever taught this guy or showed this guy like to risk his 900 grand in day trading is just dumb, right? So at most, so if you had 900 grand, at most you're going to take, 5% of it, so 45,000, and start trading of the 45,000, 5% a trade, right? That's called risk management, right? And then, you know, at, that's 5,000 a trade. 5,000 a trade, you're going to be trading things between $8 and $50 a share, and you're going to be making, 25 to $50 a day, right? On $45,000. If you make 25 or $50 a day, that's like 10 grand, 12 grand a year, right? And that's, you got $900,000 in retirement thinking about that, right? So obviously this person, wanted to exponentially uh, have better returns than that, and he was not ready, right? He did not have the experience. Let's say if you have no money, go to Thinkorswim, go to TD Ameritrade, and use their fake accounts or the non-real accounts and practice, right? Like grow that fake account to $50,000 and then start using your own money, right? Stuff like that, right? Actually see what would happen, like, because, and think of it as real money. Like, this is my real money, like, and, really practice and really learn. So I'm a life coach. If you're looking to look into stuff like that, hit me up for life coaching. So, and I can help you actually become a successful, profitable trader like I am, right? So keep that in mind. Hit me up in the DM, sign up for life coaching if you're interested. All right, last thing of the day. Your potential doesn't disappear when life gets hard. It just hides behind your excuses, right? So I go back to this $900,000 example, right? This person's going to blame everybody but themselves, right? You made life hard for yourself, right? And then you come up with excuses why things are hard. Oh, okay. Clothing business isn't successful. It's because, it's because of advertising now. It's because there's too many people in the market now. It's because of competition. You're going to blame everybody but yourself. It wasn't like, oh, you didn't do a good enough job explaining what the brand is. Oh, you didn't do a good enough job of making the t-shirts. You didn't choose the t-shirts that people want, right? You chose the stuff that you wanted, right? Stuff like that, right? So that's called denial. It's like the stages of grief when things get hard. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, right? So just jump straight to acceptance here, right? You have potential. Accept that whatever you did wasn't good enough. Switch it up and move on, right? So, come out with the first t-shirt. First t-shirt doesn't sell anything. Okay, it wasn't good enough. Let's try a different strategy, right? Let's try to think up of cool, inspirational things that people identify with, right? And if they identify, because you'll see, people will be buying $50 shirts if they identify with what it says. Unfortunately, I do see that a lot of the stuff that people identify with is negative, and that is definitely a difficult thing for me because I don't want to have negative stuff on my stuff, right? So, but that doesn't mean that I don't, I will keep and continue to try to find something that people do identify with, because you only need one, right? You find one that big time celebrity identifies with, they rock that shirt, and then all of a sudden you're going through the roof, right? And you didn't even have to pay them because they rocked with your stuff, right? Or you become the celebrity yourself, right? So keep that in mind. I'm Nate, and I'm a life coach. If you need help in your life, sign up for life coaching. Let's get you straightened out. It's 100% money back guarantee. If after a year I don't have you straightened out, I don't have you with a better, improved life, I will give you all your money back, right? So keep that in mind. Shop at InstaSell.com. Pick you up a cool, inspirational t-shirt today. And buy my wife's book, London and the Googly Goo, on Amazon. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.